say it.
I have a question about the first okay to cry. I have a problem where is it possible to cry too much?
I
As a
mean,
man, as a man, like um like oh my,
are you talking
I
about
don't
like
want to cry.
crying tears out of your eyes, or are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah, like showing emotion and crying. It's like I find that I do like that people defend it. It's just that in my experience, I've been told that it happens too much.
Yeah, and I think that being the people that are telling you that, like the idea they're upholding is harmful. Now, if you're crying in such a way where it's affecting your day to day life, then yes, and I think that there should be interventions like maybe therapy or other ways to help navigate your feelings and emotions. But if it's something that is helping you like acknowledge and navigate through your emotions, I don't think that like it's a good idea to tell people you can cry too much.
Well, I guess I'm asking because how do I know at what stage I'm incapable of doing something? Like the other day, I couldn't like bag my own groceries, and I felt like so much shame about it because it, I can't lie and pretend I'm not feeling it, and I can't. And if it's wrong to hide it, then it's like should I? Is that would you say that's an instance where it's going taking it too far?
No, I think that
Why are we putting limits on crying for
go ahead.
men? Like, I don't understand why we are putting limits. Like, it just makes no sense.
Well, it's like,
Like,
what if
even given the,
this is
Well,
why?
to be
I'm gonna,
fair, is it that
hmm
new?
Is this what if I was a police officer? It's like wouldn't there be a limit on being very emotional as a police officer?
But I mean,
I
if
mean,
you're
no.
gonna use that example, then everything has a limit. It
Right,
just
but
depends on
is
like
that
the
okay though?
context.
It's
Like, it's
like
just like, I
it's
mean,
like
it is okay
if I called the police to deal
everything.
with a dispute and they started crying. It's like what I would start crying if they were crying.
Right, but I think you're putting a content you're putting like a contents of crying in a situation where crying is not necessary. I don't think people are saying that men should cry about everything. I think you have to contextualize like the crying and what it's about. If you're crying because you're feeling emotional, it's
So
okay. But if you're crying because just something happened, I think you have to contextualize it. The issue is you can't just put a limit and say, "Oh, this is too much, this is too little."
so the
You just have to
question is
make sure
okay,
that it's
yeah.
in the right setting.
So the question is it ever wrong to cry? Is I'm asking because I'm trying to navigate this myself because
Yeah, it's
I'm
it
crying
is.
in certain places and I cried at Starbucks, and so I'm asking, is there how do you become the arbiter and say no, this is wrong to cry in this situation?
Why should you? Why should there be
And
an
that's kind of like the
arbiter?
point. There's nobody.
Yeah, but then there's no
Yeah,
wrong place to cry. Then
because no, I mean there is
Cry as
just like
much
there
as you
is wrong
want.
is
places
there or
to.
not?
There's wrong places to laugh too. I mean, you can't laugh at a funeral. Like that's not a good place to be laughing. So yes, there
Sounds like
is
a double
places that you're
standard
not
because I
supposed to
have
be crying it.
let's
No, it's not.
it
Hold on one
is a
second.
double
Hold on one
standard.
second.
It's
Hold
a
on,
double standard.
Keith. 1 second.
Keith,
One
what
second.
are you
Like
arguing
there
here?
is. That's what I'm saying. Like you can cry. It just depends on when. Like it's not saying like the thing that's being pushed against is that you can't cry at all. Like that's what people are saying. Like there's no need to say that you're not supposed to be crying. There are situations that you can cry, and there are situations that you shouldn't be crying. So blanketing and saying that all men shouldn't cry is the issue because you're going to the full extreme of like saying that they shouldn't, which is kind of crazy. Like if it's appropriate for you to cry, cry. Like what's the problem with that?
What the problem is when do I know it's appropriate or not? You're not answering the question.
I
Well,